and be listening to the news and you wonder where they get these weird ass stories from. Well, see, if you listen to the mainstream media or the old school media and don't listen to the new media, you won't know which way to turn. You see, this old media, they like to lie and whitewash the narrative and erase history, get you all riled up and all stirred up, but a lot of times it just don't be the truth. So sometimes you have to come to us, people like us, the Buzz Report, the new black media, places like that that's gonna tell it like it is. We not gonna hold back. We gonna keep it real. Now here's a story I had brought up a while ago, man. It might have been 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I like to every now and then go back and check and see if anybody else has caught on to this story. And it's about the Devil's Punchbowl. You know, it's a constant, in America, they always want to talk about concentration camps over there in Germany. What happened to the Jews? But they never talk about the concentration camps that they had in America. History has always taught us about the concentration camps in Germany. But America has its own little dirty secrets about the use of its concentration camps. Yeah, I know what you're saying, man. What? America had concentration camps? You know, that's what he supposed to do, you know. They don't know about this, but they did. These camps were located in Natchez, Mississippi, and were used to corral freed slaves during and after the American Civil War. As the slaves were being emancipated, I hope I ain't butchered that, from the plantations, their route to freedom usually took them to where the Union soldiers, where the Union Army was. Unhappy with the slaves being freed, the army began to recapture the slaves. You see, you have to realize that the slaves, our ancestors, they were black, and the Union Army was white. So they began to recapture the slaves and force the men back into hard labor camps or concentration camps. The most severe concentration camps were located in Natchez, Mississippi. As the slaves made their way to freedom, to the town of Natchez went from a population of 10,000 to 120,000 people, almost overnight. In order to deal with the population booming like that with free slaves, a concentration camp was established. The men were recaptured by the Union troops and forced back into hard labor. The women and children were locked behind concrete walls of the camp and left to die from starvation. You got to be a special kind of demon to do something like that. I mean, you got to really be evil. The devil himself. But we had him in America. Many also died from smallpox disease. A total of over 20,000 free slaves were killed in 1 year. Inside of this American, notice I say American, concentration camp, not Germany, American concentration camp. Researchers studying the existence of the concentration camp said the Union Army did not allow them to remove the bodies from the camp. They just gave them shovels and said bury them where they drop. I told you had to be a special kind of demon to do that. But we all know the faces of these demons. And this particular camp was called the Devil's Punchbowl. The camp was located at the bottom of a pit with trees located on the top of it. But you know, it had a bowl. It looks like a bowl when you stand on top of that pit. Now today, even today, now back when I was growing up, I heard about this. You know, my great-grandmother told me about it. It said peaches grow down there. Wild peaches, fruit. The locals will not eat any other fruit because they are aware what has fertilized the trees where these fruits grow. Also, skeleton remains still wash up when the area becomes flooded by the Mississippi River. Even when America tries to bury its racist ways, we must force America to acknowledge what has occurred and not shy away from the truth. Let's never forget what happened. Let's never forget all the free slaves that died in America's concentration camps at the Devil's Punchbowl, which is where our ancestors lay. My ancestors. Now, with that being said, I said, let's not forget. Let this word get out. But now, when I put this out there, because a lot of people didn't know, and so I wanted people to know about this concentration camp. And when I put it out there, a certain news channel had reported on it. Well, as I was checking up on it to see, if anybody new has posted something about it, I did find somebody new. That same particular news channel posted on it again. So I clicked on it. I said, okay, they must have found something new. Oh, no. They didn't find nothing new. They wanted to whitewash it. You see, with all the racism that's going on in 2020, all the injustice and, the chaos that's going on in America right now, I guess they said to themselves that, we might need to take this story off and change it up. So I want you to look at this particular video. Now, I put 2 videos up there, and I want you to watch both of them. I'm going to play one, the original story. It's not all of it. It's not the whole video. But I'm going to play the most important part. Then I'm going to play the part where they try to whitewash it.
War, authorities in Natchez, Mississippi forced tens of thousands of freed slaves into camps built in what's known as the Devil's Punchbowl. Jacob Kittelstadt explores this forgotten history this Mystery Monday.
Untouched fruit falls to the ground near the banks of the Mississippi River.
They talk about there's the most beautiful wild peach groves down in the Punchbowl.
And researcher Paula Westbrook says, like a peach, the area known as the Devil's Punchbowl has a pit, a mass grave from the 1860s. Historians estimate that in 1 year, up to 20,000 freed slaves died in contraband camps below these bluffs.
When the slaves were released from the plantations during the occupation, they overran Natchez. And the population went from about 10,000 to 120,000 overnight.
So they decided to build an encampment for them at Devil's Punchbowl, which they walled off and wouldn't let them out.
Don Estes is the former director of the Natchez City Cemetery.
I just put my own tombstone right there. You see Estes?
Learning history's been his life. He says Union troops ordered recaptured black men to perform hard labor.
Straight down right here.
While women and children were all but left to die in the 3 Punchbowl prisons.
Disease broke out among them, smallpox being the main one, and thousands died. They were begging to get out, turn me loose and I'll go home back to the plantation, anywhere but there. But they wouldn't let them out.
The Union Army did not allow them to remove the bodies from the camp. They just gave them shovels and said, bury them where they drop.
And I'd really like to show you more of this terrain, but it's just too thick with greenery. These bluffs are also straight down, so not only is it dangerous to navigate, it's still very mysterious back there.
It's a bed of alligators and snakes. It would take Indiana Jones to get back in there at this point.
Then you come on up washing away bluffs and at the Devil's Punchbowl that has so many people that no one knows.
You have a story about a place most of us have never seen.
Oh, I wouldn't think so. Maybe from the road for the hardy adventurer, but we get to go down inside the Devil's Punchbowl, just north of Natchez.
It looks like a jungle from up above. Down below that first bluff east of the Mississippi River, quarter mile, maybe a half mile past Natchez City Cemetery. You're 200 feet up right here, and your footing falls almost straight down into a 2-pronged indentation into the bluffs that sort of looks like the roots on a molar tooth. The moderate seclusion it afforded from boats on the river just below it and travelers on Cemetery Road just above it gave rise to all sorts of rumors and legends of dastardly deeds that were supposed to have happened in here. A river pirate hideout, a holdup for Natchez Trace bandits, where massacres and murders and mystical things have happened. 2 airplanes actually have crashed into it over time, and other stuff. So much stuff that people started calling it the Devil's Punchbowl. David New took me down into it one morning so I could get a look at what was really there. We didn't see the devil or any hidden treasure, except maybe the treasure of a pristine bottomland hardwood forest. You could use your imagination to take you back to a time before humans ever chopped a tree or shot a deer or cleared a parking lot. The sound surprised me. You could hear your footsteps and the crickets and other creepy, crawly things that must be right there nearby. We did hear an airplane. Fortunately, it passed safely overhead, probably landing at Natchez. And then when it got quieter, there was the almost silent, very distant roar of jet engines way, way overhead. Busy people, probably on their way from Atlanta to Houston. Then the forest fell silent again. And I thought how lucky we were not to be on that distant airplane overhead going somewhere far, far from home, but to be here with nowhere in particular to be and no particular time to have to be there. Just like the trees in the deep woods, right here, always, right now.
Well, the Devil's Punchbowl is private property, and there really isn't a good access to it anyway. Besides, it's appreciated best from the road up above where you can use your imagination and create your own story of what might be going on down in there.
Few mystical pirates, huh? Some bandits. Oh, a few aerial planes done crashed. Oh, we got some flying over. You see what I'm talking about? You see how they just whitewashed the story? How they just lied? How they just flip-flopped the shit around? Oh, no, we ain't gonna talk about the 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 of our ancestors laying down there. No, that's not really important. You know, that's how these demons act. You see, you got to keep your eye on this old ass media. The media that y'all running around here listening to every day. Cause see that every day I think about that place. The older I get, the more my soul is tormented. I used to wonder where all these horror dreams come from, but it ain't horror dreams. Maybe it's something talking to me. Maybe it's something that wants me to help to get out there. And I believe this has got to be it. How come you trying to hide the story today? Oh, we know why. That's what you do. You demons and spawns like to lie. I want all of y'all to help share this story. Get it out there. Tell your children about it. There's no... Did you hear him say 3? Not 1, not 2, but 3. Can you imagine the suffering, the pain, what they had to go through? I was born in Mississippi. There ain't really a lot I can do about being born in that wretched ass, sorry ass state. It took a lot out of me. A lot of progress. A lot of things I could have learned, but you know, when you born in that hellhole, oh yeah, it was a hellhole. I remember some of the shit I used to have to go through when I was a young man, when I was a little kid, being spit on, being called nigger, boy, can't drink from here, you can't come in here. I remember that hellhole. This is why I want some of you to tell your children, don't let your history go down the drain, because they doing it, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. It's being taught in the schools. It's on TV. It's on the news. They are really switching this around. And I'm sitting back here trying to do everything I can to try to get stuff out. And I'm watching shit like this. So you see what kind of special spawn-ass demons that have emerged from these devils. Make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch for more posts to come up. I'm RJ with your Buzz Report. You know how we do it here.